Don't move. Look, my daughter whispered. I bent down next to her, both of us crouched outside the guest bedroom door at my mother-in-law's house. Through the crack, I could see them, Diane and Jessica, hunched over my purse on the bed. She's so desperate, Jessica said, laughing. It's pathetic. My mother-in-law turned a page of my journal, my personal journal. David could have done so much better, Diane said, shaking her head. He could have married Allison from the country club. Now she had class. Jessica raised her phone. The camera clicked. She was photographing the pages. My heart stopped. I couldn't breathe. That's when I understood. I'd been set up to fail from the start. My name is Hannah. I'm 34 years old. I've been married to David for 8 years. We have a beautiful 6-year-old daughter, Lily. I'm an elementary school teacher. 3rd grade, specifically. I love my job. I'm good at reading people, at noticing when something's wrong with a child who won't speak up. I should have used those same skills on my own life years ago. Because for 8 years, I've been trying to win my mother-in-law's approval. Diane never thought I was good enough for her son. Not pretty enough. Not successful enough. Not polished enough. Her daughter Jessica, David's sister, is a real estate agent. Successful, flashy, everything I'm not. And Diane made sure I knew it. Little comments at family dinners. Oh, you made casserole again? How simple. Questions about my parenting. Are you sure Lily should be watching that much TV? Critiques of my appearance. You know, Jessica's salon does wonders. I could get you an appointment? I smiled through it all. I was patient. Maybe too patient. I thought if I just tried harder, if I was kinder, more accommodating, she'd finally accept me. I wasn't dramatic or confrontational. I just wanted peace. I wanted to belong. But belonging to that family meant disappearing a little more every day. Drop your location in the comments. I read every one. I want to know where you're watching from because I need you to understand something. This story, it's not just mine. It's happening in families everywhere, and we need to stop being silent about it. That Sunday dinner at Diane's house was supposed to be normal, monthly tradition. David's whole family gathered around her dining room table, eating pot roast, pretending everything was fine. Lily tugged my sleeve halfway through the meal. Mommy, I need the bathroom. Come on, sweetie, I said, excusing us from the table. We went upstairs together. The bathroom was occupied, so we waited in the hallway. That's when Lily froze. Her little hand gripped mine, and she pulled me down to her level. Shh, don't move. Look, she whispered, pointing at the guest bedroom door. It was cracked open just an inch. Through it, I saw my purse on the bed. The purse I'd left there when we arrived, because Diane said the living room was too cluttered. And I saw them, Diane and Jessica, huddled together like conspirators. Jessica held my journal in her hands, the one I'd been keeping for therapy, for processing my feelings. The one I'd stupidly brought with me because I'd been writing in the kitchen while helping Diane prep dinner. Listen to this, Jessica said, her voice dripping with amusement. I wish Diane would just give me a chance. I know I could be the daughter she needs. They both laughed. My stomach twisted. Pathetic, Diane said. David could have married Allison from the country club. Now she had class. She knew how to dress, how to host, how to carry herself. Look at this one, Jessica said, scrolling through pages. I wonder if I'm a good enough mother? Sometimes I feel like I'm failing Lily. Click. The camera sound on Jessica's phone. I'm saving these, Jessica said. Never know when we'll need proof she's unstable. The floor tilted under me. My heart hammered so hard I thought they'd hear it. I pulled Lily away as quietly as I could. My hands shook. My vision blurred. Mommy, are you okay? Lily whispered. I'm fine, baby. I lied. Let's go back downstairs. We went back to the table. I sat down in my chair. David glanced at me. You okay? He asked. You look pale. I couldn't speak. My throat was closed. I mumbled something about a headache. The rest of the dinner passed in a fog. Diane smiled at me. She complimented the salad I'd brought. She asked Lily about school with that sweet grandmotherly voice. Like she hadn't just been upstairs mocking me, weaponizing my fears, photographing evidence of my vulnerability. And suddenly, everything made sense. All those times Diane knew things I'd never told her. Private worries I'd only written down. Insecurities she'd bring up with laser precision in front of the family. She'd been reading my journal for months, maybe longer. We drove home that night in silence. David chatted about his mom's pot roast, oblivious. Lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling. How long had they been doing this? 1 week later, Lily said something that made my blood run cold. We were having breakfast. She was eating cereal, swinging her legs under the table. I liked Daddy's surprise party, she said casually. I looked up. What party, sweetie? Her eyes went wide. She clapped a hand over her mouth. Oops. Grandma said it's a secret from you, 'cause you're too busy with work. My hand froze on my coffee mug. That night, after Lily went to bed, I opened Jessica's Instagram. 3 days ago. Photos from a birthday party. For David. At Diane's house. Balloons. Cake. Aunts. Uncles. Cousins. Even David's college friends. Everyone but me. I was at a mandatory teacher training that day. Diane knew my schedule. She'd asked about it 2 weeks earlier. I confronted David that evening. Did you have a birthday party at your mom's house on Saturday? He looked up from his laptop, guilty. Oh, yeah, Mom threw a little thing together. She said she tried to tell you, but you were so stressed with work. She didn't want to burden you. She told our 6-year-old daughter to keep secrets from me. Hannah, come on, don't be dramatic. It was just cake. Just cake, I repeated, numb. My phone buzzed. A text from Diane. Sorry for the mix-up, dear. You're always so overwhelmed. Didn't want to add to your plate. I stared at that heart emoji for a long time. 2 weeks later, Diane hosted a family BBQ. We were all in her backyard. Aunts, uncles, cousins, kids running around. David at the grill with his dad. I was helping set the table when Diane's voice cut through the chatter. Hannah, don't you think Lily needs more structure? I know you worry about being too lenient. I froze. I'd never said that out loud. Never. But I'd written it. In my journal. 3 weeks ago. Everyone turned to look at me. What? Some mothers are just too emotional to provide proper discipline, Diane said, looking around at the family with concern. David's cousin Rachel nodded. Kids need consistency. Jessica jumped in, her voice dripping with fake concern. Maybe Lily should spend more weekends here, for stability. My voice shook. I discipline my daughter just fine. Don't be so sensitive, Diane said, waving a hand. We're just trying to help. The family murmured agreement. I was being sensitive, overreacting, making a scene. Lily sat on the grass nearby, watching. Confused why everyone was questioning Mommy. David pulled me aside. His jaw was tight. Can you just not make a scene? He said quietly. It's Mom's house. She's trying to help. I felt like I was drowning. The final straw came a month later. David and I had been saving for a home renovation, specifically an office space for me. Somewhere I could grade papers, plan lessons, have a door that closed. Diane invited us over for dinner. Just the 3 of us. Lily was at a sleepover. I want to help you with the renovation, she said over coffee. $15,000. My breath caught. That was more than we'd saved. Mom, that's incredibly generous. David said. But, Diane said, sliding a folder across the table, I have some ideas about the design. I opened it. Floor plans, paint swatches, furniture catalogs, no office. Hannah's just a teacher, Diane said sweetly. She can grade papers at the kitchen table. What you really need is a proper guest room for when family visits. We appreciate the thought, I started, but the money is contingent on following my plan, Diane interrupted. I want to make sure it's done right. Later, she pulled David into the kitchen. I was in the hallway grabbing my coat. I heard her voice, low. I'm worried about her spending, David. This way you control it. You make sure the money goes where it should. David murmured something I couldn't hear. When we got in the car, he said, It's generous, Hannah. We should be grateful. A week later, I was at Diane's house again. I went to the bathroom. As I washed my hands, I heard her voice through the door. She was on the phone in the next room. I'm working on getting David to see reason about her, she said. Give it time. He'll realize soon enough. I stood there, water running over my hands, feeling the walls close in. But here's what they didn't know. I wasn't just lying awake at night anymore. I was planning. After that day, I saw them reading my journal. I'd started protecting myself. I began recording conversations on my phone. I live in a one-party consent state. It's completely legal. I took screenshots of every social media post showing family events I was excluded from. 8 different occasions over 2 years. I created a timeline, dates, witnesses, specific quotes. And I did something else. Something I hadn't told David. I contacted Allison, his ex-girlfriend from college, the one Diane mentioned that day. We met for coffee. She did the same thing to me, Allison said quietly. I have emails from 7 years ago. I tried to warn David. He didn't believe me. She forwarded them to me that afternoon. I also reconnected with Rita, an old friend from college. She's a licensed family therapist now. We'd been meeting for coffee every week. I told her everything. This is textbook emotional manipulation, Rita said. Triangulation, gaslighting, covert narcissism. She started documenting her professional observations. My teaching salary isn't huge, but it's steady. And for the past 2 months, it had been going into a separate bank account David didn't know about. I wasn't planning to leave, but I was planning to survive. I also discovered David had given his mother a spare key to our house. For emergencies, he said. I wasn't planning revenge. I was planning to stop disappearing. I suggested couples therapy to David. I framed it as strengthening our communication. He was reluctant, but he agreed. Rita saw us professionally. In the first session, she gently pointed out patterns. David was defensive. Mom's just old-fashioned, he said. She means well. Rita planted seeds, small observations, things for him to think about. Meanwhile, I confided in my school principal, Mr. Torres. He'd been through something similar with his own family. Don't get angry, he told me over lunch one day. Get clear. Document everything. Then set boundaries like your life depends on it. Because emotionally, it does. But while I was preparing, Diane was getting bolder. She planned Lily's 7th birthday party. Different theme than what Lily wanted. Different venue. Different date. She didn't consult me once. Jessica posted on Facebook, finally planning a party with someone who has taste. David was caught in the middle. He grew irritated with my sensitivity. Then Diane started suggesting to David that I might be mentally unstable. She referenced my journal entries as proof. Maybe Lily should spend every weekend at our house, she told him, for stability. I recorded that conversation. My phone was hidden on the bookshelf in the living room. The breaking point came on a Tuesday afternoon. I was homesick from work. bad cold. I was in bed trying to rest. I heard the front door open downstairs. Footsteps in the hallway. I got up, confused, dizzy. I found Diane in my home office, going through papers on my desk. She didn't apologize, didn't look ashamed. "I'm David's mother," she said calmly. "I have a right to know what's happening in his life." Something inside me snapped. "Get out of my house," I said. My voice was steady, cold. She laughed. Actually laughed. "Excuse me? David gave me this key? I don't care. Get out now or I call the police." Her face darkened. "You're being hysterical. This is exactly what I'm talking about." I pulled out my phone. "I'm counting to 10. She left, slammed the door behind her. 5 minutes. Later, David's phone buzzed. Then mine. A text from Diane to both of us. "Your wife just threatened me. This has gone too far." I sat on the edge of my bed, shaking. This ended now. One way or another, I scheduled a family therapy session through Rita for the following Saturday. "To clear the air," I told David. "I think it would help if your mom and Jessica were there too." He was skeptical, but he agreed. Saturday morning, Rita's office, neutral territory. Diane arrived, looking annoyed. "This is ridiculous. We don't need therapy. There's nothing wrong with us." Jessica was there for moral support. She smirked at me across the room, expecting me to get lectured. David sat between me and his mother, uncomfortable. Rita facilitated calmly. "Hannah, would you like to share your perspective?" I took a deep breath. Then I pulled out a folder. "I have printouts," I said, "of social media posts from 8 different family events over the past 2 years. Events I was excluded from." I spread them on the table. Birthday parties, holiday brunches, family game nights. "I also have screenshots of text messages," I continued. "Jessica sending David messages questioning my fitness as a mother." Jessica's smirk faded. "And I have this," I said. I pressed play on my phone. Jessica's voice filled the room. "Listen to this. I wish Diane would just give me a chance. I know I could be the daughter she needs." Then Diane's. "Pathetic. David could have married Allison from the country club." The click of the camera. Jessica's voice. "I'm saving these. Never know when we'll need proof she's unstable." The room went silent. Diane's face drained of color, then flushed bright red. "You were spying on us?" Her voice shook with rage. "That's illegal. That's invasion of privacy." Rita's voice stayed calm. "Actually, Diane, in this state, one-party consent recording is legal. And you were in her space, reading her private journal without permission." I played the second recording. Diane telling David I was unstable, suggesting Lily spend every weekend at her house. David's face transformed. He was hearing it all for the first time, unfiltered. "Oh, come on," Jessica said, leaning back in her chair. "Everyone vents about in-laws. You're taking it out of context." "You photographed my journal," I said, my voice steady. "You used my private fears as weapons. You planned my daughter's birthday party without telling me. You tried to turn my husband against me." I pulled out another set of papers, printed emails. I handed them to David. "These are from Allison, your ex-girlfriend. Read the dates. 7 years ago. She warned you about this exact same pattern." David's hands trembled as he read. Diane tried tears. "I only wanted what was best for David. A mother's love." "Love doesn't manipulate," I interrupted. "Love doesn't mock. Love doesn't invade." David's voice cracked. "Mom, what you did, I can't believe. She's turning you against your own family." Diane stood up, desperate. Rita intervened, her therapist's voice clinical and clear. "What we're seeing here are patterns of covert narcissism, triangulation, attempts at parental alienation." I pulled out one final document, a printed list. "These are boundaries," I said. "Moving forward." I read them aloud. No unannounced visits, no spare key, no private conversations about our marriage. Time with Lily supervised and scheduled in advance. No social media posts involving our family without permission. Therapy required before rebuilding trust. Diane's voice rose to a shout. "You can't do this. She can't do this to us." David's voice was quiet, firm. "Actually, Mom, she can. And I support it." "I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner." Jessica grabbed her purse. "This is insane. We were just trying to help. Come on, Mom." Diane played her final card. "Fine. But don't come crying to me when your marriage falls apart. Don't expect me to be there." I looked her in the eye. "I won't," I said calmly, "because I finally understand. I never needed your approval. I needed my own voice back." They left. The door slammed. David broke down in the chair next to me. How did I not see it? How did I let this happen? Rita guided us through the next steps. Resources, strategies, a referral to another therapist for ongoing couples work. I felt a weight lifting off my chest. "I'm not crazy," I whispered. "I'm not too sensitive." "No," Rita said gently. "You're finally free." 3 months later, everything was different. David and I were in weekly couples therapy with a new therapist Rita recommended. He was working through his childhood conditioning, reading books about enmeshment, family systems, setting boundaries. "I'm horrified by what I normalized," he told me one night. "I'm so sorry. We changed all the locks on our doors. Diane's spare key was useless. She sent guilt trip texts occasionally. I guess I'll spend Christmas alone." We didn't respond. Jessica tried to paint me as the villain on social media. I didn't engage. Some people believe her. Most don't care. Some extended family reached out quietly. We always felt something was off. David's aunt told me over coffee. We just didn't know how to say it. Lily was noticeably happier, less anxious. No more secrets from Mommy. We threw her 7th birthday party exactly as planned. Small backyard gathering, school friends, homemade cake. "This is the best birthday ever, Mommy," she said, frosting on her nose. David's relationship with his mother is now structured, boundaried, minimal. My separate savings account became our family emergency fund. I'm staying, but I'm protected. We built my home office with our own savings. I have a dedicated space now, a door that closes, a window that looks out on our garden. Last week, I got a Facebook message from Allison. "I heard through mutual friends. I'm so proud of you for doing what I couldn't." I realized something then. The hardest part wasn't the confrontation. It was learning to trust myself. For years, I bent myself trying to fit Diane's vision of the perfect daughter-in-law. I made myself quiet, small, grateful for crumbs. But that day when Lily whispered, "Look," I finally saw clearly. Not just what Diane was doing, but what I'd been allowing. The silence after our boundaries didn't hurt me. It freed me. Because it wasn't the silence of shame anymore. It was the silence of peace. If you've ever had to stand up to family betrayal, hit subscribe and tell me your story in the comments. Where are you watching from? Drop your location below. I always check. And if you're in a situation like mine, please hear this. Document everything. Trust your gut. You're not crazy. You're not too sensitive. You're not imagining it. Sometimes the people who are supposed to love us most are the ones who need the firmest boundaries. Your story deserves to be heard. Share it with this community if you feel safe doing so. Thank you for listening to mine. I'll see you in the next one.